Assalamu alaikum, welcome to 9 p.m. English News. Point live RTD channel. Here the top story. The World Dangerous Day, the head of state takes part to the events at the People Place. On immigration, the UN assists 10,000 of migrants in Libyan smuggling help. That was the headlines, and welcome to the national news. The Menfob celebrated the World Day of the Dangerous under the head of patronage. His Excellency Osman Gili was celebrated today at the People Place of the People, the World Dangerous Day. The ceremony was closed with the the National Week of activities devoted to the dangerous, paying tribute to the role that he accomplished within the society. The President of the Republic, accompanied by the First Lady, has been welcomed his arrival by the Minister of National Education and Vocational, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoudi, by the whole of the members of the government, the Parliament senior executive, as well as the dignitaries, civilian and military members of the country. The diplomat in position to Djibouti and the representative of the international organization have also been invited to attend this ceremony. They say his arrival on place, the head of state starts his visit by a tour of exhibition of the various stands and styles, and which are devoted the books and textbooks to the work, equipping the new teaching materials and educational presentation that meet the new standard and technology advance in the field of education, such as selfies, smartphone, etc. Note that the theme chosen this year to celebrate the Day of the Dangerous focus on the smart school, the autonomy of dangerous and their working condition. Finally, the innovation in the field of education. This year, the Menfob has put the emphasis on digital, which is today a necessity absolutely to learn and be in phase with the time and modernity. It is a requirement of our modern world. These reforms in the area of ownership of the tag by the school are following the guidance of the President of the Republic, who has urged the Menfob proceeded to a broad transformation of his education system with an emphasis of digital. Also, that this year has started for the Menfob under the PSC auspice the grown of hope with the creation of the School of Excellence. The smart classroom, the school connected as well as the currency, namely practice, namely the management based on the result or advance or concrete progress. A smart classroom video conference with the 5 regions of the entire formation has distance managed software relationship with the parents and students, developer stand in the content of the tablets. And during this ceremony, the Minister of Education has paid a tribute to the dangerous as a whole, which he said they remain the backbone of the national education. The Minister also specified that 1/3 of the state budget is devoted to the national education. More details from the Minister.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is an unprecedented opportunity to pay tribute to our teachers, a tribute from all over the world in recognition of the noble mission entrusted to them by the nation. It is also a moment to talk about the education of our children, our education system, its challenges and change in the presence of all the actors concerned and around the highest authority of the country, to His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh. On this day, therefore, dedicated to them, I would like to wish all teachers of all rank on the national territory a joyous feast and say to them, be well and may God go along with you in your mission for making of our children's good citizens. Through this day, we strive to enhance the profession of the teacher, these men and women, and to raise awareness among parents and students, but also the Djiboutian community in its whole, to stress the importance of the teacher in our society and for the socio-economic development of our country. The Djiboutian government devotes 1/3 of its budget each year to the national education. In a country like ours, not so rich, where everything is important, everything is essential, you will agree with me that this is a sacrifice made in favor of the education of our children. Much hope for the development of the country.
During his speech, the head of state recalled the innovation introduced at the Minfobe, including the creation of School of Excellence, the Center for Training in the Hotel Business, the schooling of refugee children, more from the head of state.
My fellow countrymen, it is always a great pleasure for me to be here this morning to celebrate the World Teachers' Day, a day whose celebration takes a special interest for us because this year the theme is Smart School, Autonomous and Innovative Teachers. I would like first of all welcome the new measures taken by the Ministry of National Education to improve the education system, in particular by the creation of the School of Excellence, the creation of a training center for the hotel trade, support of the schooling of refugee children, and the effective introduction of digital education. Dear teachers, the great educational debates around the world have recently revolved around the quality of education, and it is clear that today universal education cannot be satisfied without the question of quality learning. Indeed, offering an education of quality means allowing and ensuring that all children can acquire the knowledge and the skills they need to achieve and participate in building tomorrow's society. Dear teachers, if today we have the right to express our satisfaction in the effort made, the positive balance in terms of access, equity, or improvement of the teaching conditions, among others, we cannot, however, ignore the many challenges to be faced in the field of quality or remain indifferent to the various questions raised by the inadequacy of our school in its return, especially when it comes to innovation and critical thinking. The quest for quality requires more than ever the commitment of society as a whole, the unique conditions for meeting the challenge of a school where dropping out, neglect or failure don't have their place. A school in step with the constant evolving progress of the world of technology and innovation. An inclusive school serving not only all but the success of all. It is incumbent upon all of us to be bold and creative when it comes to the future of our children, because today science and technology play an important part in the way we learn. It is in this spirit that the program of a tablet for a student was set up from the very first year with success. It is now up to us to extend this will to all levels and disciplines in order to train the innovators of tomorrow.
In the second part of his speech, the head of state did not omit to speak of a technological revolution that has totally changed our lives and our behavior with the new means of transmitting knowledge, information. Let us listen to the head of state.
Dear teachers, as you may see, we are experiencing unprecedented upheavals since the technological revolution, which now hits our habits and our knowledge, reinvent our society and upsets the environment in which we live, because today's knowledge is no longer confined to the classroom, but rather scattered everywhere and accessible on demand. In addition, we live in a world where by the year 2030, half of the jobs we know will be obsolete and will be replaced by vending machines. In this context, it is crucial to create a generation of learners where all young people have the skills to flourish. Skills needs are changing, so students must acquire a wide range of skills to support the competitiveness of our economy. Many employers are finding it difficult to recruit employees with skills such as critical thinking, creativity, and communication. We must therefore focus on the acquisitions of these competencies and ensure that teachers are no longer merely transmitters of predetermined content, but rather learning facilitators. To do so, our school must go beyond traditional patterns of knowledge transmission in order to train a citizen able to use the knowledge acquired in the school rather than store it without being able to transform it into a value-creating knowledge useful for the development of the country. The emphasis should therefore be on flexibility and autonomy, the adaptability of the learner, and how to use their knowledge in different ways to respond to the concrete problem that will be submitted to them. I remain convinced that digital can help make school more effective, fairer, and more inclusive. If there is much talk about technology, what makes us conscious being and can never be replaced by technology is above all our moral senses, our critical thinking, and our value. That is why it is necessary to strengthen civic and moral education by transmitting to future generations with enough strength Islamic values, good habits, and the behavior of a good citizen. Dear teachers, the innovative teacher is first of all a teacher who is conscious of the transformation of the world around him, competent and devoted in his mission as educator and trainer. He will innovate in his way of teaching, interest his audience, awaken the imagination of his students, and transmit his knowledge with passion. In fact, the good teacher, as pedagogues say so well, is the teacher who teaches what he is, not what he knows. It is indeed in the pedagogical act that the teacher's autonomy truly resides. It does not escape anyone that the success of our student rests on the work and effort provided by the teacher. You are the first guarantors of the quality, and you are the first guarantors of the quality of the teaching provided. You are the initiators of the performance of the Jewish school. You are the promoters of the country's sustainable development. That's why we trust you and express our sincere satisfaction to you. Finally, dear teachers, we are always at your side to better go along with you in this heavy responsibility and to value through this ceremony so well organized the effort of the most deserving teachers.
In his speech, the President of the Republic has first of all welcomed the effort on a daily basis provided by teenagers for their contribution to the training the men and the women of tomorrow. From outside, the President has referred to the new policy and educational approach to a school in phase with a world constant change. The President has even spoken of a technological revolution based on the digital and the ICT. This indeed has emphasized the devastating of the new skills, but also of actual transformation at the level of the teaching practice, which he says should not consist in the traditional formula dangerous programming. Responded the President that henceforth to make the glaze outwise in proposing activities seeking more the people rather than of the extemporaneous practice study or dangerous that's just the teacher and imagine of the students in making it more creative in order that our children in the field executive to adapt with the advance in technology at the global level. The President has also urged the teenagers has not to miss the train of this technological revolution as a polio development in farming and recycling regularly, especially in the field of innovation in the area of training in the pedagogy and the didactic and technology of the information and the communication education. The President has also recalled the spirit and major theme of this celebrating of the World Day of the Teenagers, who is intelligent school, teenagers autonomy and innovative, and has therefore congratulated the Menfob and his ministers for the new creation, particularly regarding the establishment of the School of Excellence, which he specified brings together the best of our children and in all discipline. It has even evoked the invitation by the Minister of Menfob for a visit next of this school called Excellence. The President of the National Assembly, Mr. Mohammed Ali Ahmed, has started a walking visit to Russia, where he is located since yesterday. The President of the National Assembly visited the headquarters of the Russian Parliament in Duma, where he met with the Vice President of the Parliament responsible for Africa, Mr. Zhukov Alexander, as well as Mr. Razul Botashev, a member of the Commission of Foreign Affairs. This exchange have focused on various topics, virtual or topically, including the holding of the 137th Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentarian Union, which will open in Wittenberg on 4 October, and during the discussion, the various parties have agreed that there was a need to further develop the political dialogue as well as an economic partnership to explore the sectors that could benefit the two nations. Finally, the two parties have agreed on the need to put in place a parliamentary friendship group, Djibouti Chaine. This group will contribute to set a further cooperation in various areas, including the military training, health, youth, and sport. The President of the National Assembly was accompanied during this working meeting by a head former of the parliamentarian, Mr. Idris Mohammed Ahmed, the ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti in Russia, Mr. Mohammed Ali Kamil, and his advisor, Mr. Harbi Saeed Musa. Finally, the President of the National Assembly held to invite to Djibouti a delegation of Russian delegation parliamentarian and most cabinet day. The Vice President of the State Duma, Zhukov Alexander, was committed to the speech a delegation before the end of the year. At the end of this private walking visit to Moscow, the President of the National Assembly has left the capital Moscow to send Petersburg, and second stage of his tour in Russia. The sports event will be selected held at the Stadium Al-Hajj Hassan Goulet Abtidan according to the calendar which figure on each rotation of list. 6 full candidates are requested to present themselves at their date of communion in holding of Swart 15 with the national identity card. Global list with the rotation are displayed on 2 flowing places in Djibouti City. To the different districts 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 to the office of the Commissioner of Foreign as well as the state Al-Hajj Hassan Goulet Abtidan in the region of the interior, the prefect of the region as well as to the military regime locality in the place chief. The candidates are asked to demonstrate good citizenship and do not to pull out the list of their place of this place. And now move on to the international scene. UN agencies say on Monday they were trying to provide urgent help to large numbers of migrants held and then stranded in the smuggling hub of Saprata as a rival faction battled for control of the city. That's it for tonight's news. Thanks for being with us and have a wonderful evening.